Alright, we simply had to make another episode because, as you remember, when we built this engine for the owners, they were simply also restoring the body. And here it is now. As they brought it to the shop, it was to restore the rust portions and the body, and then suddenly it became purple or violet. So we'll look into that and talk about it and give the story of why. And definitely we gotta send this guy the SRD sticker soon. And an early shout out to Mike's Duration TV from Bacolod. We're gonna talk about this, guys, a little later in the video, so you gotta watch it. All right, now those are the ITBs. This is a different engine, of course, but we'll get to this in a different video. So let's start recapping the VTI series with episode 1. We go into detail as the owner just brought the whole engine packed, and we unpacked it, and you can see the list of the work that we need to do. It's on the first episode. You can go back to it and see. Now we're cleaning it on the block, and then inspecting it and all that. And then we also, of course, did the headworks, and we would show you the end part on the second or third episode. So that's it. And on the episode, we go show you how we poured the head and all the details. We actually get it close to looking at like a Type R head. And you can see all the critical areas that we work on. And we show you step by step. Now we're on episode 2 or part 2. We show you the intricacies of the oil pump, on what makes it flow better or the reasons why it flows less, which is not good for your bearings. We show the parts and what to check. And now it's the main bearings, and we assemble the crank and show you guys the OEM way. This way you do it correctly. And you can see all the steps on part 2, right? You can see all the steps is done properly. Actually, on the earlier episode, we were showing you how it is with the light oil. And you can click here for how to plastic gauge your oil clearances. Now we're gonna check the ring gaps and prepare it for storage before we assemble. You'll see how we keep things in order. This is how we check the ring gaps in different areas. Here you can see how we prepare the piston rings to be in order and just wrap it all together. Now we're gonna show you here on how we clock the rings and reasons why in certain areas. And you can click here for the video on piston rings. On part 4 or episode 4, we show you our ethyl mix, and we get the finish, or to show you how we get the finish texture that we desire. And you can see the head is gonna be finished on this episode. There you go. Looks really, really good, huh? Watching that episode is really imperative, because now you would see how the finished head or port is. You can also click here for the positive crankcase ventilation video. Now on to part 5. We're finishing the bottom end. We're installing the pistons, and of course we showed you how it's clocked, and we're gonna show you how we assemble even the rods. There you go. It's a little bit harder than the B series counterpart, but it's still okay. Here you go. And now we're gonna show you how it turns when it's fully assembled. Right? Now it's gonna be ready for the head to be permanently attached to the block on the final episode. Here you go, it's part 6. And you can see we use 3 bond, just how OEM Honda suggests it. And onto the gasket, on the drains. drop the head in, torque it accordingly, and now here is the finished engine. And on this episode, the surprise was the unplanned skunk to cam gear. And the valve cover is going to be painted by the owners, and we're going to talk about the restoration of the VTI body right now. Alright, the body was going to be scraped to remove rust and cure it and prep it. It got a brand new bumper on the front, and you can see they're checking the alignment like it's gonna be new. And then again, they test fitted the engine before painting the rest. And here's the engine being test fitted on the engine bay. It looks good. And the owner told me suddenly it became purple or violet, the decision, because this is a father and son project. But suddenly, I think it was his niece or daughter who got involved. So suddenly, now it's gotta be violet. But hey, I must admit, it actually looks really, really good. I like the shade of purple or violet, and it looks really, you know, like a good race car. No, just kidding. A good street car. It looks really good. I like this. I mean, I would drive this. It's not really girly per se. You know, it's just, it's actually quite fashionable. Not the green bumper because that's on primer, but you know what I mean, right? And look, it's gonna look good because the engine is gonna be painted with the valve cover all black, so it's gonna be really, really clean. All this is such a nice project and nice gift for his son. They're gonna have fun with this. And forgive me, I don't know why I kept saying Bacolod. This VTI and the family is from Iloilo. So they're actually restoring this in Iloilo. So not Bacolod, okay? My apologies on that. But then now let's talk about this. Alright, now worth mentioning that this only happens locally. I don't know why, but it just happens locally. Shops shall remain nameless, of course, but we see customers here bring their engine for a rebuild or refresh or even upgrades. Right? They bring the engine, and then of course the shop starts working on it, and then it takes them a year to even give any payment, which is funny because when you think about it, that long can render it like inadequate, right? But here we go. It takes them a year, and then they start acting like a victim, like because work is not done or this is not yet there or it's missing and all that. Frankly, you are not the only customer of the shop. So when you think about it, it doesn't make sense, right? How can a shop finish something without anything? If anything, you're taking up space for a shop that's busy, right? Think about it. I mean, this kind of thing is like a parasite to our car scene. It doesn't help. So it would be nice if you guys could assume responsibility, because when you think about it, that kind of antics and the victim mindset is kind of stupid. Are you stupid? Now this. In Bacolod, Michael Fortalejo Baghari runs Mike's Duration. He's the owner, and they do a lot of good work. Check this out, right? And also, he runs or uses an EG hatchback. This is his hatchback. And it's really interesting because it runs a Ph12 carburetor, and he plans to run dual K-hin on his fully built engine. And we can't wait for that. This is his engine bay, and you can see it's a carburetor. It's really gonna be really interesting to see how it performs above stock, because he built an engine that's with the oversized pistons and a regrind cam. So it's actually a fully built engine that's gonna be running dual K-hin. So that's gonna be really, really strong. That'll be really interesting to see how it performs with the usual setups. And to tell you the truth, guys, I've been actually thinking about working on a pH12 intake and a carb. It's just that I couldn't find one any here, you know. So if you guys are gonna donate some, hey, we'll take it. We're actually gonna make a video if we get one to show the possible modifications that we can do. So yep, who knows? And Mike told me he's working on finishing the video and releasing of this small body Toyota Corolla. And it's gonna be really, really cool. So, hey, let's wait for it. And that's the recap of the whole series. And you can always click here for episode 1 and subscribe so you can check all the new stuff that's coming up.